Hello students, welcome to Ayurveda. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about the etymology, Panchamahabhut constitution and qualities of Kapha Dosh. So in today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the locations of Kapha Dosh in the human body. So let's get started. So there is a shlok regarding the locations of Kapha Dosh, which has come in Ashtang Hridaya Samhita of Acharya Vagbhat, which goes like Urah Kantha Shira क्लोम पर्वण्य आमाशयो रसः मेदो घ्राणं च जिह्वा च कफस्य सुतरामुरः. So here Acharya Vagbhat has given different locations of Kapha Dosh, which includes Urah, Kantha, Shir, Klom, Parvanya, Amashay, Rasa, Med, Ghran and Jiva. So now we'll discuss each and every location in detail and how we can understand it with the modern science. Okay, so first one is Urah. Urah means chest or thorax region. So it is the most important location of Kapha Dosh among all the locations. So we can understand how Kapha Dosh resides in the Urah or chest or thoracic region by 2 points. First, we'll be discussing structural reasons and second, we'll be discussing functional reasons. So first is structural reasons. So we know that in the thoracic cavity, mucus secreting epithelium is present, surfactant of the lungs are present, and serous fluid, which includes pleural and pericardial fluid. So all these three things, mucus secreting epithelium, surfactant in lungs and serous fluid, all these represents lubrication and protection functions, and also they give stability and nourishment to the thoracic cavity, so which is typically a kapha dosh functions, which includes lubrication, protection, giving nourishment and stability, which is given by mucus secreting epithelium. Surfactant in lungs also perform this function, and serous fluids also responsible for giving protection, nourishment and lubrication. So, and lungs and heart, if we talk about lungs, which in Ayurveda is called as phufus, heart, which is called as hridaya in Ayurveda, pleura and pleural fluid. So these things are heavy. If we talk about the organs, lungs or heart, they are heavy, they are stable, and also they are soft and moist and lubricated. So these are also core qualities of kapha dosh. So by this logic, we can consider that kapha dosh resides here, because kapha dosh qualities are very visible by these organs or these structures. Next one is mediastinal connective tissue. So by mediastinal connective tissue, we can understand that these tissues are rich in Jala and Prithvi Mahabhut. So we have already discussed in the previous lecture that Kapha Dosha's Panchamahabhutic constitution includes Jala and Prithvi Mahabhut, and these connective tissues are rich in Jala and Prithvi Mahabhut. So by this logic, we can understand why thoracic cavity is considered as the location of Kapha Dosh. Okay, and when we talk about the functional reasons, we have discussed structural reasons, which includes mucus secreting epithelium, surfactant, serous fluids, lungs, heart, pleura and pleural fluid, and mediastinal connective tissue. So all these structures denotes the kapha's qualities or kapha's function, which includes lubrication, protection, giving nourishment and stability. That's why we can consider thoracic cavity as a location of kapha dosh for by structural reasons and by functional reasons. So what are the functions that are occurring in the thoracic cavity? The first one is lubrication and cohesion, stability and support, and nourishment. So by this function, we can understand that kapha dosha is responsible for lubrication, cohesion, stability, and nourishment. We already discussed that. Okay, based upon this function, we can understood the location as the mucus in the respiratory tract, and also pleural and pericardial fluid. What this things does, they prevents friction during breathing and heart movement. And preventing friction is a function of kapha dosh, and by its lubricated guna or the snigdha guna. Stability and support. So the compactness and positioning of organs in the thoracic cavity, as we know that heart and lungs are held firmly yet softly in position in the thoracic cavity, and the chest wall also provides protection, so which denotes the function of stability and support, which is a function of kapha dosh. And the last one is nourishment. So there is continuous circulation of rasa dhatu, continuous circulation of rasa dhatu through the heart. So by rasa dhatu here we can understand the oxygenated blood. The oxygenated blood is transported to the entire body parts through the heart, and the heart is located in the thoracic cavity. So these oxygenated blood, what does it, provides oxygenation to support the tissues and give nourishment or nutrition to the entire tissues of the body. So and also the one point you have to keep in mind is rasa dhatu and kapha dosh is very closely related. We can also see in this verse that rasa is one of the location of kapha dosh, and how rasa is one of the location of kapha dosh is we will be discussing in the further slide in today's lecture only. But for now, just understand or just keep in mind that rasa dhatu is closely related with kapha dosh. So because of this nourishment function of rasa dhatu, which is closely related to the kapha dosh, so all these functions, which includes lubrication, cohesion, stability, support, and nourishment, all these function again denotes the functions of kapha dosh based upon its gunas. So due to all these reasons, we can consider Urah or thoracic cavity as the prime location of kapha dosh, because the function, the structure present here, or the functions or the activities that is happening in the thoracic cavity is very closely related to the kapha dosh. Moving on, the next location is Kantha. Kantha means throat. So how we can consider Kantha as a location of kapha dosh or understand it with modern science is because the structures, secretion and functions of in the Kantha region are dominated by kapha guna and karma, just like we have discussed in the Urah or chest region. So in throat region also, first we'll see the structural reasoning, like how structurally we can correlate and we can understand it as a location of kapha dosh. So first one, the organs or the organs located in the Kantha region or throat region includes pharynx, larynx, vocal cords, tonsils, salivary glands, and mucosal lining. Okay, all these things will find in a Kantha region. So all these structures in are soft, means mrudu, which is the guna of kapha dosh. They are moist, which is a guna of kapha dosh snigdha. They are stable and they are also rich in mucus and secretions. Okay, so all these structures are soft, moist, and they are rich in mucus and secretion, and they are also stable. All these are the kapha lakshans that we have, or kapha lakshans or kapha gunas, which we have already discussed. So by the similarities of these structures with the kapha gunas, we can consider it as a location of kapha dosh by a structural reason. And the second one is a functional reason. So the activities happening in the throat region include swallowing, speech and respiration. Okay, so we know that the functions of kapha dosh, main functions of kapha dosh is lubrication. So by lubrication or by snigdha gun of or oily gun of kapha dosh, what it does, it facilitates swallowing. Okay, it facilitates swallowing, and it also prevents friction during speech and respiration. So by a lubricating guna of kapha dosh, it facilitates the swallowing in the throat region, and it facilitates speech and respiration. It facilitates or prevents friction during speech and respiration. And also there is a smooth vibration of the vocal cords. There will be smooth vibration of the vocal cords due to the snigdhata of Kapha Dosha, or the lubricated guna of Kapha Dosha. Okay. Here the important point which you have to keep in mind is that we have discussed in the previous lecture of Vata Dosh, about we have discussed about Udan Vayu, and throat or Kantha is the location of Udan Vayu. So here Udan Vayu is the prime dosh which is responsible for speech and voice, and Kapha in Kantha or throat region provides stability and lubrication. And without Kapha dosh, Udan becomes rough and weak, which will lead to the different diseases of, or the different diseases of Kantha region. If Kapha dosh is not present there, it will hamper the function of Udan Vayu. So Kapha dosh is a supporting dhatu, supporting dosh of Kantha region. The primary dosh located in Kantha region is Udan Vayu, which is responsible for all this function, and Kapha dosh provides the lubrication needed to perform all this function. Okay. So I hope you understand how the Kapha dosh is closely related with the structures and functions happening in the Kantha region, and that's why we consider Kantha as the, or throat as the location of Kapha dosh. Next one is Shira. Next one is Shira. Shira means head. Okay. So in head region also, we can understand that head is an important Kapha Sthan, because the anatomy, physiology and the protective mechanism of the head region are also Kapha dominant. Okay, the structures will again, there will be two reasoning will be giving. First is structural reasoning and second is functional reasoning. So structural reasoning, by structural reasoning we can understand that brain head contains brain, which in Ayurveda is called as Mastishk. It has meninges and CSF. It has sinuses, and it also includes eyes, nose and mouth secretions. It is responsible for eyes, nose and mouth secretions. So by brain we can understand that brain is a soft, uncutaneous and well nourished organ. And by meninges and CSF also we can understand that they are snigdha, that means they are oily in nature, they are slimy in nature, and they provide cushioning to the brain. And by sinuses we can understand that these are mucus lined cavities. The sinuses are mucus lined cavities, and the secretion from eyes, nose, and mouth are tear, mucus and saliva respectively. So all these structures reflects heaviness or oiliness, unctuousness, softness and stabilities. All this in which is Guru, Snigdha, Mrudu and Sthira gunas of Kapha. So all these structures indicates the gunas of Kapha, the qualities of Kapha dosh. That's why we can understand structurally how Kapha dosh is located in the head region. And by functional reason, we can understand that CSF, which we already discussed in the structural reason, that CSF cushions the brain. Okay, CSF cushions the brain. The mucus present here protects the nasal passages. The mucus present in the sinuses protects the nasal passages, and tears and all the secretion, tears lubricates the eyes, and all the secretion is also used for the lubrications. So the again lubrication and protection functions of Kapha dosh. So by these regions, or by the presence of the qualities of Kapha dosh, we can understand that Kapha dosh resides in the head region also. Moving on, next is clone. So clone, in modern science we can understand it as a organ related to the fluid regulation. So one thing you have to keep in mind is that clone is the organ which is very debatable in Ayurveda. There is no clear point or a clear organ present in the human body that easily be correlated with the clone, and there are so many difference of opinion regarding the organ, regarding this organ. So due to this debatable conversation or debatable point of this organ, we can only keep in mind that it is the organ related to the fluid regulation, and by fluid we can understand the kapha dosh. So by that logic we can consider clone, or we can understand that clone is a location of kapha dosh, and will not go in detail about this because there is no proper organ which can be correlated directly with the clone. Okay, the next one is parvani. Parvani means joints. So joints can be also considered as the location of kapha dosh because joint structure, its lubricative function, its stability giving function and smooth movements are also maintained by kapha dosh. So again we'll be discussing two reasons. First is structural and functional, second is functional reason. So structural reason, by structural reason we can understand that articular cartilages present in the joint are smooth, soft and elastic, which are also the gunas of kapha dosh, that is shlakshna and mrudu. The synovial fluid. The synovial fluid are oily or snigdha, slimy in nature, and the joint capsules and ligaments are also heavy and stable in nature. So all these are qualities of kapha, and all these indicates jal and prithvi mahabhut pradhanta or dominance. Okay, so by this logic we can consider, we can understand that joint is a kapha dominant location, or it has the dominance of kapha dosh, indicating it is the location of kapha dosh. And by functional reason we can understand that it performs the function of lubrication, it gives stability and support, and it performs the function of weight bearing by the guru guna of kapha, which is the heaviness, the guna of heaviness of kapha dosh. So synovial fluid, we know that synovial fluid reduces friction and enables the smooth and painless movement of the joint, and ligaments and capsules maintains the joint integrity, so it gives the stability and support to the joint, and weight bearing function is done by the guru guna of kapha dosh. So by this logic joints is also a location of kapha dosh. The next location is amashaya, meaning stomach. So Amashaya is also a location of stomach because of its anatomy, because of its secretions and early digestive functions, which are also kapha dominant. Okay, so by structural reason we can understand that the mucus secreting lining, so and soft elastic muscular walls of the stomach, and also moist internal environment. So all these features show snigdha, mrudu or lubricative guna or heaviness or guru gun of kapha dosh. So by this logic, or by the presence of these gunas, stomach is considered as the location of kapha dosh, and by functional reasons we can understand that it helps in lubrication. How? So we know that gastric mucus protects the mucosa of the stomach from acids, facilitating easy mixing of the food, which is again the process of lubrication. Next one is moistening of food. So by the kleda guna of kapha, the saliva or the gastric secretions of the in the stomach softens the food and convert the food into a semi-liquid bolus. So this is the function of moistening, which is done by the kleda guna of kapha dosh. And last one is holding position, holding functions. Okay, so stomach temporary holds food, that we all know, which allows the gradual digestion. So gradual digestion happens in the stomach or starts in the stomach region, and stomach, what does stomach holds the food temporarily. So holding is also a function of kapha dosh. Giving stability is also a function of Kapha Dosh. So by this logic, Amashaya is also considered as location of Kapha Dosh. Next one is Rasa. So how Rasa is the location of Kapha Dosh. So let's understand that Rasa, because Kapha and Rasa both share similar gunas or qualities, both share similar Mahabhut predominance and also similar functions. Okay, and in modern science we can understand Rasa by plasma and lymph. Why? Because Rasa and lymph or plasma also share same functions. They both are responsible for to transport nutrients and maintain hydration, and it also supports for the immunity of the body. So because of the same functions we can correlate Rasa with plasma and lymph. And now talking about how Rasa is considered as the location of Kapha Dosh. So first there is gun similarity, second there is Mahabhut predominant similarities, and also there is functional similarities. Okay, so by gun similarities we can say that both are snigdha means unketas, guru means heavy, mridu means soft, pichil means sticky, and sheath means cold in guna or in qualities. Okay, so because of these guna similarities, so guna similarities is the main reason. So because of this reason, kapha naturally localizes in rasa. Second is Mahabhut predominance. So Rasa Dhatu is predominant in Jala Mahabhut. Okay, and Kapha Dosh is predominant in Jala and Prithvi Mahabhut. So as both of these share common Jala dominance, this explains why Kapha resides in Rasa Dhatu. Okay, and the third one is the functional similarities. So both this Rasa and Kapha Dhatu is responsible for nourishment. They nourishes all the dhatus, and they are responsible for lubrication and cohesion and cooling and calming effects in the body. So Rasa nourishes all dhatu, and Kapha also supports growth, strength and immunity. So because of the similarities of the functions, because of the similarities of the Mahabhut predominance, because of the guna similarities, Rasa is considered as a location of Kapha Dosh, or Kapha Dosh resides in Rasa Dhatu. Also there is classical concept in Ayurveda which is ashray ashray sambandha or ashray ashray bhav. Okay, by this ashray ashray bhav we can understand that kapha dosh is ashray and rasa dhatu is ashray. That means kapha resides in and depends upon rasa dhatu. So rasa dhatu gives shelter to kapha dosh. Ashray ashray bhav means giving shelter to something. So rasa dhatu is ashray means it is giving shelter, and kapha dosh is ashray means it is taking shelter. It is residing in something. So rasa dhatu giving shelter to kapha dosh, and kapha dhatu resides and depends upon the rasa dhatu. So there is ashray ashray sambandha between these two things. The next location is med. Med means adipose tissues. So here also kapha dosh kapha dosh location is considered as made because of the gun similarities, because of the Mahabhut predominance and also functional similarities, just like the rasa dhatu. How made dhatu is considered as the location of kapha, let's understand. Both of these share same gunas which include snigdha, guru, mridu, sthir and pichil. Both of these share these gunas just like the rasa dhatu. There is also Mahabhut predominance. Same Mahabhut predominance as Meda Dhatu is rich in or is dominant in Prithvi and Jal Mahabhut, and Kapha Dosh is also dominant in Prithvi and Jala Mahabhut. So because of this also Meda Dhatu is considered as location of Kapha and also functional similarities, as both of this is responsible for lubrication, protection and giving strength to the body. So because of the structural, qualitical and functional similarities, because the structure, qualities and functional are predominantly kapha in nature of the Meda Dhatu, Meda Dhatu is considered as the location of Kapha Dosh. Okay, and also here also there is classical concept regarding Ashray Ashray Sambandha. Here also Kapha dosh is Ashray and Meda Dhatu is Ashray. So it also means Kapha dosh resides in Meda Dhatu also. Kapha dosh resides in Rasa Dhatu also, and Kapha dosh resides in Meda Dhatu also. And in both of these dhatus, Kapha dosh is closely related by guna, by Mahabhut, and by functional similarities. Okay. Moving on, next one is Ghraan. Ghraan means nose. Okay, so we can understand the location of Kapha dosh in a nose because the structures, secretions, and protective functions of the nasal cavity are also Kapha dominant. Okay, the first we'll be discussing the structural reason. So we know that the nose or the nasa contains mu mucosa lined nasal cavity. It contains conchae, which is also known as turbinates, paranasal sinuses, and rich vascular and glandular tissues. So all these structures are moist, all these structures are soft, all these structures are sticky and also heavy in quality, which are all the gunas of Kapha dosh, which indicates Kapha dominance here also structurally. And functionally we can see uh, it performs the function of lubrication, and it also helps in the protection and filtration. So nasal mucus keeps the passages moist, which is the function of lubrication, and it also prevents dryness and irritation in the nasal cavity, providing it means preventing friction. So by this we can understand it is guna of it is functions of Kapha dosh. So all these logics tells that nose is the location of Kapha dosh. The next one is Jivha. Jivha means tongue. So tongue can also be considered as the location of Kapha dosh because the structure, the moisture, the taste, perception, and protective functions are here also are Kapha dominant. How? If we see the structural reason, the tongue has thick muscular body, it has mucosa rich surface, and it has salivary coating. So these structures shows snigdha, meaning moistness, mrudu, they are soft, and they are also slimy, they are pitchy, which are all kapha gunas. So that's why kapha resides here, and it is considered as a location of kapha dosh. And by functional reasons we can understand that what it does, it helps in the taste perception because taste requires moisture. So that's why the moisture resides here because of kapha dosh, so it helps in taste perception. It also helps in lubrication and protection. So what it does, saliva present in the tongue region, they dissolves the food particles, and without cough there will be a dry tongue and there will be loss of taste. So here also kapha dosh is important for to perform all these functions, indicating it as the location of kapha dosh. Okay. The saliva also protects the mucosa. That's how it performs the function of protection. So I hope you understood today's lecture. In next lecture, we'll be discussing the next topic regarding Kapha dosh. Until then, keep reading and don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Thank you for watching this video.